It's We Love Betting. The inform We Love Betting. Nick Watts got 2 trebles in a row in the Premier League, and this man joined him in the winners' enclosure, if you like, last weekend. You got a Football League treble up. How did that feel?
Went under the radar, didn't it, because of the international football, so no one really gave matter, did it? It happened.
Don't be modest, man. Don't be modest, man. He's a very modest man. He's got 3,500 followers on Twitter. He never mentions it. Anyway, enough of these japes. There's serious business at stake here. We're looking for another treble. Another treble. Let's kick off with the Championship. And you're in love with this team. Tell us who it is.
Well, Ross Petty's my mate on Twitter, and he's a Palace fan.
Yeah.
So why not put Palace up again? We've spoken about it quite a lot in the last couple of weeks, mainly because I think they're the most informed team in the Championship at the moment. A lot's been made of Leicester, but Leicester have obviously bolstered their squad and spent stupid amounts of money for a Championship club in the last 2 seasons, whereas Palace have done it all under the radar. I think it's 4 wins on the trot now, and 6 wins from their last 7 league games. Fantastic form. And there's a lot of derbies in the Championship this weekend. Yeah. None more so than Palace against Millwall, which is quite a feisty South London affair.
Dangerous.
Yeah, not one I'd be willing to go along and attend.
We should over 9.5 injuries to the crowd. Over under.
Yeah, good luck if you go. But Palace are doing it the hard way as well, it's got to be said. 2-0 down against Cardiff and Burnley at home, and they came back to win the matches. Of course, we put them up against Burnley as well, and at 2-0 down, I was throwing the betting slip in the bin, but well done to Palace and Dougie Freedman as well, because his credentials have really been lifted in the last couple of weeks. I think he's been linked with the Bolton job and the Scotland job as well.
Let's not mention that.
It's going to be available soon.
Yeah, hopefully.
And then there's also, of course, Wilfried Zaha, who just keeps hitting the headlines. He's been absolutely spectacular recently. They're 11-10 at home to Millwall. Millwall have won 1 game in the last 6. I think that's too good to turn down. So Palace first bet.
Well, informed Palace for Mark then. Dougie Freedman, he's just a cool guy. I like him. He's got quite a 1990s hairstyle, sort of middle shed, as we used to call it in Scotland. But yeah, great guy, and he's working wonders there. League One, a very controversial selection. As I saw it, and I did gasp. He's opposing the league leaders. What the hell are you on?
It is controversial, but I know Nick Watts was questioning me as well. But let me just put it out there. I mean, firstly, Eddie Howe's back at Bournemouth. Let's not understate this. This is a huge, huge deal because Perry Groves, Paul Groves in the Bournemouth dugout's been under a lot of pressure even since the end of last season. I thought maybe the summer might help, but it's been a very frosty 6 to 8 weeks this season. Bournemouth fans really not impressed with his team selection, his tactics, and on paper Bournemouth have one of the best squads in League One. And of course, we put them up as I put them up as a potential promotion candidate. Nick put them as a potential relegation candidate. And thankfully, this has happened sooner rather than later. Bournemouth have the chance to redeem themselves. And it's probably worth saying as well that Eddie Howe watched from the stands last week as they beat Orient at home. It was their first home league win of the season, which is a terrible stat to actually have to reel out. The first home win, only the second of the season as well. So they're on a little bit of an upward curve, should we say. And you look at Tranmere, defensively they've been very, very good this season, but it's worth pointing out that 6 of their last 8 league goals conceded have come in the last 5 games. And of course Yeovil stormed into a 2-0 leader at Prenton Park last week, which is pretty unheard of. And they look very, very vulnerable. If Yeovil hadn't gone down to 10 men, they would have come away with a point, if not more, from everything I've read. So an air of optimism around Dean Court for the first time this season. They're 13-10. I think Eddie Howe's comeback is going to spur them on to 3 points.
Yeah, the king has returned, or the golden child. He looks like a child, doesn't he?
The child from the 60s.
Exactly. He looks like a sort of Scally, if you like, a Beatles fan. But yeah, anyway, good luck to him. And there was personal reasons why he went back, and all the best to him, that's for sure. League 2. And you seem to be sucking up to our colleague Nick Watts here by backing his side. Explain.
How many times do I have to name drop him in one video?
He's just too good.
Anyway, yes, Southend travelled to Morecambe this weekend, and I think they've been absolutely superb in the last few weeks because they've been absolutely ravaged by injuries and suspensions as well. The last couple of weeks they've had nearly a whole team out. Unavailable, and they still pulled out the goods, especially last week. I was so impressed with this. Going to Rotherham, the New York Stadium, and getting a 3-0 win. It's the first team to go there and win. 3-0, absolutely emphatic as well. I mean, fantastic. Paul Sturrock and his team deserve a huge credit to that. But they're going to Morecambe. We mentioned it a couple of weeks ago. Morecambe go away from home as you discovered and pick up 3 points.
One bet last weekend, Rotherham. Sorry, no, Rochdale. I've got a bit of a fetish for Rochdale to beat Morecambe, and Morecambe won. It was inexplicable.
I don't think I've ever heard that sentence. Fetish in Rochdale.
I don't know about any good-looking girls that live in Rochdale. I'd bet on that.
Perhaps not Morecambe either.
Yeah, I've been there once actually. I got a fairground accident in 1988. Anyway,
well, Nick assures us there's plenty in Southend, so that's why we're
I
getting.
think there is
Southend.
actually. I believe that Essex, if the popular myth's true, there's strewing loads of girls. Anyway,
back to football. Morecambe are very vulnerable at the Globe Arena. It's worth pointing out. I think it's 1 win in the last 11 League and Cup games at home, which is pretty appalling stuff. 1 win since March, I think, at home as well. It's terrible stuff. Paul Sturrock's men are over their sort of early season blip. I think it's 1 defeat in the last 6 now in League and Cup games. They're looking primed for another push towards promotion, especially the top 3 spot. I've actually chosen the draw no bet here, which is 3-4 Sporting bet. Basically, because I'm a little bit cautious when backing teams away from home in the Football League. It's not the best policy all the time. So that's 31-20 if you fancy backing Southend outright. But I'll take the insurance of draw no bet at 3-4.
Nice one. 3 good picks. You got 3 right last week. Tell us the 3 this week that have caught your fancy.
Reverse order, 3-4 on Southend, draw no bet at Morecambe. Just turn my paper over. Bournemouth 13-10 to beat Tranmere, and Palace 11-10 to beat Millwall.
Lovely. He's smooth, isn't he?